Hello everyone, my name is ClickFlow and welcome back to another episode of the Minecraft Thrive Guide. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. As you can see, we're starting off here right back where we left off in the last episode after we had slayed the Ender Dragon, and we just have a few things in our inventory right now. Some of you might be wondering why we are still going. Why there is a next episode, because as you all know, I'm sure, the Ender Dragon is the final boss of Minecraft. After defeating the Ender Dragon, you have beat the game, so the game is over, right? Well, yes and no. Yes, the Ender Dragon is the final boss of the game, and once you beat it, you technically have beat Minecraft. Once you go back through the portal, it will roll the end credits. But for me, I feel, and for a lot of people, I feel that once you beat the Ender Dragon, it really opens up the game. So I feel like it's more the beginning than it is the end of the game. There's so much more you can do once you've finished slaying the Ender Dragon, and we are going to get into a lot of that today. As we pointed out in the last episode, that little bedrock portal that will take us to the Outer End Islands is going to be our gateway over to some really exciting loot and some fantastic ways that we can now play the game. I'm going to gather a little bit of end stone. I'll probably take this little chunk right here, and then I'll meet you guys over at that bedrock portal, and I can explain what we're going to be looking for and how we are going to go about exploring the End Islands and finding End Cities. Yes, that's right, folks. You heard me correctly. We are going to be looking for a special type of structure in the Outer End Islands called End Cities. They're like these futuristic-looking cities that spiral up into the sky, and I think they look really neat. And I've always kind of thought of them as like the Enderman's hideouts that they make, and like this is since this is their home dimension, that's kind of like where their bases are, and then they do their operations based off of those cities. I don't know, maybe that's just me spouting off my 2 cents, but I always kind of think they're pretty fun. But we are going to find a number of things in these end cities, mainly going to be an item called Elytra, which will allow us to glide in the air. That is correct. We will be able to float in the air using Elytra. And we will also be wanting to look for shulkers. I already mentioned them in the last episode. They are a type of mob that when slain will drop shulker shells, which will allow us to expand our inventory. We can craft them into like a portable type chest. So that is going to be exciting. I'm really excited about this. And as you can see, this little end portal here should take us out to the Outer End Islands. Now, before we go out and try and go through this portal, I am going to make a little barrier around this, just in case by some accident we do go through the this portal and we don't make it all the way through. I want to be able to have something that we can land on, so that we don't end up dying from falling into the void. I want to avoid falling into the void, pun intended. So I think that's pretty good. And as you can see, this is generating in the positive x-axis away from the main portal over there. So it's going to teleport us out probably 2,000 or so blocks out in the positive x-axis direction to where there is the generated end islands, and we are going to want to go through that. As you can see, of course, we can't jump into it because it's only 1 block wide. So what you need to do is to take one of these ender pearls and throw it into there so you can teleport into that block, and then it will teleport you out. And I am going to have some blocks on my hotbar, potion of slow falling. We want to make sure we don't end up glitching through any terrain and falling into the void. But here we go on our exploration. That didn't work. Oh, that was an endermite. That was exciting. As you can see, we're out in this in these outer end islands, and there is the portal that we spawned from. I'm going to take a screenshot really quick to remember these coordinates in case we get lost. But I can't believe it. We are ridiculously lucky. There's an end city right over there, and another one right there. Holy cow! That I was supposed to give you an entire episode about how to find these things. I guess we will talk about that now since we've already found them. Most of the time, you're not as lucky as I just got right here, where there's 2 end cities right next to each other. Generally, you'll have to travel a significant amount of distance into the end, the outer end islands before you can find any cities. As you can see, we are walking along this x-axis here, and this direction is the positive x-axis. So if you travel in the negative x-axis direction, at least for our case, that will take us back to the end portal in the main island in the center of the dimension, and of course there is no terrain there, so we will end up falling into the void. But if we travel out this way, eventually we will run into one of these end islands here, and that is what we want. And then once you've found one of those guys, then you can travel in a perpendicular direction to that to find other end cities. So so that is the strategy for that. They do tend to generate in grid-like patterns. So just traveling in one axial direction until you find one, and then once you found one, then travel in a perpendicular axial direction until you can find more of them. So it is kind of just a game of exploration and finding our coordinates. But since we've already found them, I'm going to make my way over to this city and see what kind of structure has generated. It looks like this one is fairly large. Both of them are fairly large, which is quite surprising. And the thing we are looking for is a end city ship. So you can see in these buildings there's these vertical corridors that lead up into these rooms that are kind of floating, and that's why I kind of have the idea that they're like these futuristic buildings. But as you can see, there is a floating ship, kind of like it's just leaving the dock of the end city and it's floating off into the distance. That is great. Only some of the end cities will generate with these end ships, and it looks like this one might have one too if we generate it. Does. Wow, that is a really lucky find for our sakes. Wow, I'm honestly super happy about that. But those end ships are where we find the Elytra. That's how we are going to get the Elytra. It's not part of any loot table drop. We can only find them in the end city ships. So I'm super happy about that. Now that we've found these things, I guess we're going to go into talking about how we can our strategy into raiding these guys. As we come up on this end city right here, as you can see right there, there is a little box, and it keeps opening and closing. That right there is a shulker. These guys will shoot projectiles at you, hostile projectiles, and those projectiles, when you're hit by them, will give you the levitation effect. It will pick you up basically and take you. And then once you lose the effect, you'll drop, and then you'll end up dying from fall damage. So that's how these guys fight. We are going to want to be under something, under a block, like under a roof or something like that whenever we fight one of these guys. So I'm going to come around here and hide underneath this little shelter, this little roof, and then we can hop out and attack him just like that. And then he dropped. Oops, I got hit. Boom, and they both dropped, and you can see there is our first prize, is our shulker shell. Oh, that guy seems mad at me. He's really mad. Come at me. Anyway, sorry about that. So now we will enter into this first room, and as you can see, there's like these purple bricks and the endstone bricks, and I love the purple colors. It's really quite fun. But as we come up these corridors, these stairs, there will be some more shulkers that we will have to tangle with. So first of all, we are in one of these vertical corridors, and it's kind of a parkour type trick where you have to jump onto the stairs. You don't have to. You could place a block like that, and then that would just lead you up like stairs, kind of like that. I'd rather just keep my blocks with me because it's not too big of a deal. Looks like this guy wants to play, so let's pop him with a couple arrows. Perfect. Okay, now we are in this first little section where it branches off into the other towers and such. So I'm going to run over here as fast as I can to get underneath this here, and then attack him and hide from the other shulker bullets. There's another one around here, I can hear him. Alright, so we took out those shulkers in this first room here. It doesn't look like we've come into any of the loot rooms yet, so we'll just keep making our way up the structure, up these little vertical corridors. And we made it into another one of these cross sections. Let me run over here. Swipe at this guy. Oh, and looks like he teleported away. That's unfortunate for us. He did die, but I don't know where, so if he dropped any shulker shells, we didn't end up getting them. But we've already got 5, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that amount. I would love to get a solid stack or a stack and a half or something like that. I think that would be fantastic. But let's just keep making our way up. This one, if I remember right, yeah, there's just a... Oof, I shot myself.
That's rough, buddy.
How embarrassing. Got him. Okay, let's make our way up there, see if he dropped anything, and we'll keep exploring. I do enjoy raiding these end cities. They are rather fun, in my opinion. One of the, if not the funnest structure for me to raid. I quite enjoy these. Oof. Looks like we reached the top and we hit the top of the ceiling and we fell down. But he didn't drop anything, so that's kind of sad. But I do hear a couple of shulkers around here, but they're probably on the outside of the walls. So I don't think I'll go get them. I'll just go on to one of these other sections here. It looks like I want to go to this side over here. I want to explore all of the rest of this city before we go and take on that ship. Okay, looks like we got those shulker shells. We have 8 already. That's good. That's good. Still looks like we haven't run into any of those loot rooms, and I'm a little surprised at that. We're about halfway, a third of the way to half of the way through this, and I still haven't seen any loot rooms, so that's surprising. Like I said, I'm going to leave this section for last because that is the one that, of course, has the end city ship. So let's go back down into this section to one of those branches and take a different route and see how that takes us. So it looks like we came up from this section and we chose to go this way. So I'm going to place a couple of blocks there with a torch just so we know which way the end city ship, because sometimes I get turned around in these. Let's go check out these 2 rooms over here and see if we can't. Ouch. Ouch. It looks like we did run into one of the loot rooms. Fantastic. Let's quickly take out the rest of those guys. Sounds like there's a couple more. I don't think they're in this room. They're probably right above us. We still only have 8, so these guys they don't drop as many shulker shells as we might like. As you can see, there's an ender chest here, and of course that has all of our stuff in it. But I won't say no to an extra ender chest. Here in the loot, looks like we got Unbreaking 3 Curse of Binding. Oh, that's not very good luck. But we can take the seeds and the gold. Might as well. The loot is always a good thing, I would say. Let's try and take that guy out. Perfect. Make my way up. It looked like he dropped a shulker shell. So I'm going to make my way up and see if I can't snag it from him. He did. He dropped a single shulker shell. Perfect. So let's make our way down to this one right here. Sweet. Fantastic. We have ourselves 11 shulker shells. Not bad. So let's continue on. I will show you guys later why and how these shulker shells are going to prove very, very helpful for us. But let's make our way up into this section here. Break ourselves through the wall, and then we can take out that guy, block those. Oops, never mind. Sweet. We're up to 15 shulker shells. That is great. I'm happy about that. And again, I won't say no to another ender chest. Let's see what we got for the loot. Ooh, 18 diamonds. Wow, that was a lot. Unbreaking 3, Protection 4. Protection 4, Unbreaking 3, for those iron chest plates and leggings. That's pretty awesome. Of course, iron isn't as good as our netherite stuff, but they are going to be great throwaway armor. So, like in case we wanted to do something crazy like fighting the Wither or respawning the Ender Dragon. Yes, you can respawn the Ender Dragon, and I can explain in a future episode why you'd want to do that. But in case we want to do something like that, of course, we could use some of these iron armor that we're getting here that have pretty high enchantments. But I'm going to take this guy out before he gets me, or he can just get me. Fantastic. Let's make our way up and see if he dropped anything. Doesn't look like it. Oh well, I got something, but it wasn't a shulker shell. Anyway, let's make our way back down. And I think we have cleared out the rest of this city, and we can go and claim our ultimate prize at the end city ship. So I'm gonna make my way down, and we can go grab that. Alrighty, let's go get this shulker over here. We'll have to go back to grab him. Oh, and we have some more shulker shells, I should say. Alrighty, and did he drop any out here? I don't think so. So 16 shulker shells, we're not doing bad. Not bad at all. Goodness gracious, I can't place the block where I want it. Okay, off we go up this next vertical corridor. Oof, that's not good. He dropped his shulker shell down there. A couple of them. We're at 18 now. Dang it, I keep falling off. Okay, so now we're at this section right here that is like the port for this end city ship, and that is going off into the distance. Now we could try and throw an ender pearl out there and be kind of tricky, but if we miss and if we hit one of the sides, then we're going to fall straight to our death. And if we overshoot and it goes over the side, we might hit one of those other islands, and then we'll really be in a pickle. So the safe option, and the option that I'm going to choose, is just to bridge out like this. We can keep our pinky finger held tightly onto that shift key, so that we don't end up walking off over the edge. And I'm going to bridge out, and I'm actually going to take my bow and shoot these shulkers here that are patrolling around the outside. I wouldn't want one of them to sneak me, to sneak a shot at me while I'm bridging over there and end up going up really high and then falling to my death. So now that those guys are out of the way, we can bridge out like this, just keeping our awareness, and make our way over to the end city ship. Alrighty, looks like we're coming up on it pretty close. Let's come up to the roof, and we are here at the roof of the ship. Fantastic. So it doesn't look like those guys dropped any shells. Sad day. But if we come around over here, one of the fun pieces of loot that it doesn't really have very much of a use, but it's still pretty fun nonetheless, is right behind here, right behind this, is a dragon head. It's a replica of the Ender Dragon head, and I think that's kind of fun to have. we can take that and pick that guy up. And what's even more fun, you can wear it on your head and you just look absolutely ridiculous. Look at that, we have an ender dragon on our head. Well, that's pretty fun. Anyway, enough fooling around. I think I'll keep my helmet instead of that, but that's just kind of fun. And it's kind of like a trophy, like those hunters that mount the head of the beast or the animal that they go hunt, and they put that on their wall. You could take the dragon head and go put it on your wall. I think that's kind of a fun addition to the game. Now, as we go into the bowels of this End City ship, there's always a brewing stand with a couple of instant health 2 potions, and a brewing stand, which I will gladly take. More the merrier, I'd say. And then right over there is our prize. Of course, there's a shulker guarding that, but we can easily dispatch of him and come over and claim our prize. There it is, folks. We have our first Elytra. Woohoo! Oh, that makes me so happy. And then we can also claim the loot here. A couple of gold, couple iron. Another Curse of Vanishing tool. Silk Touch, Mending, and Efficiency. Not bad. And then here we have more iron, some emeralds, and some diamond tools. Fortune and Mending. Fortune on a shovel's not my favorite. Fortune and another Curse of Vanishing. How awesome. How lovely. Anyway, now we have our Elytra. I'm going to do a couple of things. First thing I'm going to do is place down one of those ender chests there, and I'm going to pull out my anvil and set that down, and I'm going to take these 2 books here. I guess I could put some things in there. First thing I'm going to do now that I have all of these levels is I'm going to take a mending and unbreaking and combine those to get unbreaking mending on the same book. And then I'm going to put that here and put the Elytra in there. Elytra is fantastic and it will let you glide, but for every 1 second you are in the air, it will cost you 1 durability on the Elytra. So they are quite fragile. And they won't totally break. They will just get down to 1 durability, and then they will be rendered inert or useless. So they'll just kind of have this broken texture, and they won't be useful. And you can repair them with phantom membranes, but of course we have the mending enchantment, so that's a much faster and much more reusable way of mending our Elytra. And the unbreaking will allow us to, of course, have a longer durability. And so I'm going to claim my Elytra with fresh mending and unbreaking, and we can switch it out, and that feels good. Look at that. We have our Elytra on us. Oh, that's fantastic. Man, I'm really happy about that. And now we are able to soar through the air, so we should be able to fly around. And travel is now going to be so much easier and so much more efficient. I'm really happy about that. Anyway, we can store our anvil back in here. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a crafting table really quick, and then I'm going to place that down. I might as well make it symmetrical right there. Now I'm going to open up the crafting interface, and with one of these chests that we found, I'm going to take that there and put 1 shulker shell on each side of that. And that will create a shulker box. And as you can see, it looks very similar to the shulker texture, like the little guys that shoot bullets at you. But now, there's no shulker inside. Instead, we have a portable inventory. We can take some of our loot that we found. We can throw that in there. All of those valuables, and then now once we have all of those valuables in there, you can see we can pick it up, and it doesn't require a silk touch. You can use a fortune tool, and if we hover over it, you can see the shulker box, and then there are the contents: the netherite chestplate, the diamond pickaxe, the diamond shovel. So that has all of our items that we had in it is still stored in there. And if you see, we can open up our ender chest, and we can even store those inside the ender chest. So essentially, in one slot in our inventory, we can have 27 shulker boxes filled with 27 slots individual for each shulker box. So you can see that that is going to open up so much of our inventory capacity and the ability for us to organize and to have all of our supplies on us at a moment's notice. We can just grab those and go. So I'm really happy about that. But I'm going to take some of these and sort through my inventory and get a little bit more space freed up. And then I think I'm going to go out and raid that other end city over there. And you guys don't need the commentary of me talking because you've already seen my strategy of how I go through and raid these end cities and the end city ships and such. So I think we'll do that in the form of a time lapse. Well, we just finished up with this end city. As you can hear, there's still a few shulkers around here somewhere, and I think I will go on and clean up the rest of those. But I think I'll do that off camera, and we can head back to our base. This has been super successful. This is a great way to get some really nice end game loot if you don't want to spend the time and experience enchanting and such. So I definitely recommend this method. So, but I think I'm going to go ahead and clean out the rest of this end city with shulkers and get as many shulker boxes as I can. But I think that'll do it for this episode of the Minecraft Thrive Guide. I hope you guys enjoyed this look into finding end cities. It wasn't too much of a tutorial since basically we found 2 of them as soon as we spawned, so that's really lucky for us, but you guys should be able to find end cities without too much trouble if you just uh, if you just followed the instructions that I gave you in the beginning. And why don't you check out some other videos on this too? There are some other great tutorials on how to find end cities in your own world and such. But I think that is all for me today. I hope you guys had a fantastic time, and if you did, why don't you leave a like on this video, and why don't you subscribe for more content and for more of the Minecraft Bedrock Thrive Guide. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.